Hi, my name is Holly Saunders. I was born with congenital heart disease. I had three things different with my heart than most babies.
Holly had tricuspid atresia, transposition of the greater arteries, ventral septal defect, and double outlet left ventricle. Holly had surgeries at 2 weeks of age for her pulmonary banding, 21 months for her Glen, and 8 years old for her Fontan completion. Holly also had a tethered spinal cord. She crawled and walked normally, but when she was a preschooler, she started developing spasticity in her lower legs. The doctors discovered that her spinal cord finished a vertebrae lower than ours, and this pulled on the nerves on her legs. She had spinal surgery when she was 5. What Holly loves to do.
Play sport, athletics 100, 200, shot put, discus, and long jump, basketball, and soccer.
She plays in an all-girls team in a regular competition, and she's currently competing in a summer competition of fast football on smaller fields.
And also swimming for fun in a pool or in the ocean.
After Holly's Fontan at age 8, she noticed that she could play basketball for longer without getting tired. Initially, she played basketball at home for 10 minutes at a time. That's bouncing the ball and shooting hoops and running around a bit. But within a week or two, she could play for up to an hour. She felt happy that she had more energy. In fact, my husband and I distinctively remember Holly pestering me to let her go outside so she could shoot more hoops. It soon became apparent that it was her heart that had been the biggest factor in her low energy and lack of tolerance or ability to walk very far. She spent a lot of time in a pram. The more she exercised, the stronger her legs got, and the more she was able to do. She started to need less restrictive AFOs or short leg braces, and then none at all. Her passion for sport continued, and we had her classified for swimming and athletics, but they only recognised her legs as a disability and not her heart. What Holly doesn't like.
Walking up any inclines, especially hills, as it tires me quickly. Cross country, as I feel uneven ground. Long walks and long distance running.
Holly's achievements post-Fontan. Holly started competing in 2012, a little over a year after her Fontan completion. As Holly said, she was very nervous when she started, as she hadn't competed before, and she had to get used to the new circulation in her body. Holly has achieved over 40 medals over the last 4 years in swimming, but mostly athletics. She has competed at a national level for school athletics in the past 2 years, and she was currently at state last week, and she'll be competing again in December. She has been awarded last year the Kate Bailey Award for Combined Independent Schools last year for the most outstanding sports person with a disability. Holly's hopes for the future.
I'd like to compete in the first Junior World Championships for para-athletes in Switzerland in 2017. I'd like to compete in the Paralympic Games. I would like CHD to be recognised as a disability in sport and have its own classification so other CHD children can compete too.
Holly's reflection.
I don't think I'm different. Everyone is different in their own way. For me, my heart is a bit different and I walk a bit differently. People were very curious about my disabilities in the beginning and asked me lots of questions. They are really supportive of me. I don't think much about the future. I like to live in the present.
A parent's reflection. As parents, my husband and I decided when Holly was very young that we wouldn't wrap her in cotton wool. We had 2 older children, and we would all enjoy the time that we had with her, however long that would be. There wasn't much that we wouldn't let her do or try. We figured that her body would tell her when to stop. She often needed lots of support and encouragement to follow through with activities, just like all of our other children. And sometimes, like with soccer and athletics, we tried a sport because she was super keen, and then she'd get stage fright. So we'd take her to the soccer to start off, and then it would get too hard, and then we'd have to try again another 12 months later. And I think with soccer we had to do that for 2 years in a row. Initially she played in a mixed soccer team, but this year we moved her to a girls' competition, so it wasn't as rough. And she also wears a rugby vest under her shirt for just a little bit more protection. She also prefers to play in golds on the big competition field now, but with the summer football, she only plays goalie for one half, and then she gets out and runs around because it's a much smaller field. Holly will have to train more if she wants to meet those international standards that she's setting for herself in athletics, but she's the one driving this, not us. Holly's wish.
CHD isn't recognised as a disability in sport in Australia or around the world. I want to make people aware that CHD is a disability and it should have its own classification so that other kids with CHD can compete in sport competitions with other kids like them.
And we're going to try really hard to make that happen. That's a bit of a wish within our whole family. So we're trying to work through what we need to do to make that happen. You can also find some more about Holly's story on the Heart Centre for Children's website. So if you do have children that obviously aren't here today, sometimes that's a nice thing. If it's just a little bit more encouragement, they can go on there and find out.
Thank you for listening to my story.